This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Monday, January 13th, 2020. The title of this rant is Hillary absolved for the third time. Where is the press? So a quick shout out to Hillary Clinton, who in the 2016 election cycle was pillarized for her emails. We now know there was nothing wrong with that. Comey should have never made an issue of that. The FBI should have just said there is no investigation. When they looked into it, nothing was there. In the meantime, the press was hounding her. So many articles in the New York Times, a lot in the Washington Post. And of course, there was never equal coverage about the guy that's in there right now, and the dastardly things that he was doing and had done in his life, in his entire lifetime. None of that was reported to the scale that they did on Hillary's emails. And of course, just the other day, the Justice Department had someone look into something else on Hillary. She was again absolved again. Was there a front page news on that in the New York Times? No. Was there front page news on that? I don't believe so in the Washington Post or any other publication. Remember, there were articles day in and day out in the 2016 election about Hillary and her emails. Remember, Benghazi was all over the place. I think Kevin McCarthy, who was the Republican guy, said basically that this was a political thing that they were doing against Hillary strictly so that they could take votes away from her in the upcoming election. And of course, at one point, she actually went in front of the House committee. I believe it was for 11 hours. She sat there quietly, gracefully, answering all of their, let's say, inane questions thoroughly, completely. She shut them all up. And of course, they never brought anything up about that again. And just imagine if this clown who's in the White House right now had to speak before a House or Senate committee for as long as Hillary did. She was prepared. She had her answers. She didn't raise her voice. She was calm. And remember, whether it's Benghazi, whether it's the emails, or whether it's anything else, she handled herself with grace. And it just shows that this whole both siderism on the part of the press, they knew there was nothing there. They knew that Colin Powell, as Secretary of State, who was the other guy, Lady Condoleezza Rice, that they had their own email systems, that the email system of the State Department was not necessarily as safe as it should be. But there's all these, but again, all the Republicans did was go after her. All the Republicans did is scream, yell, and of course, the press went right along with it. And again, this is now the third time that she has been absolved. And for the hundreds of times that there was front page news on Hillary, New York Times, Washington Post barely chirps about the fact that, again, for the third time, she has been absolved of all this. And you're finding it on page 19 of one of those papers. Again, this is not the way that we should be treating our elected officials, or the way Hillary should have been treated. And she handled everything under grace. And it is a far cry from what we're seeing of the clown that's in the White House right now.